We begin hour number 3. We're live on this day after New Year's day after Alabama's shellacking at the Rose Bowl to the Indiana Hoosiers. Final there 38-3. Transfer portal's been kind of quiet for the Alabama Crimson Tide this morning. Richard Young, a running back, is the only one officially in the portal since the portal opened up. Now, there was 2 players late last week said that they were going into the portal, some backup guys, but as far as names that most folks would know, no one as of yet. Meanwhile, the Auburn Tigers, they are waiting to start doing some portal shopping themselves. We'll keep you posted on what's happening on both of those fronts. Ole Miss wins last night over Georgia 39-34. They advance. Oregon over Texas Tech 23-0, and it was Miami over Ohio State 24-14. So now we have a college football playoff where the defending national champion Ohio State no longer in the tournament. Georgia bounced out of the first round of the tournament again, and Alabama is eliminated. So a lot of blue bloods gone. And if you're keeping score at home, Miami has not won a national championship since 2001. Ole Miss since 1962. Oregon and Indiana, they've never won a national championship. So a lot of new blood coming up for the national championship, potentially.
800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Chris, been waiting patiently. Hey, Chris.
How's it going? How's it going, Molly and guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Chris.
Oh, it's all good. I wouldn't say call it full-on shellacking like you did there, Pat.
Then what was it, Chris? What would you call it if it was not a shellacking? Was it going to the woodshed?
Butt beating?
Is it what Michael Irvin is doing after every Miami win, where he's taking his belt off and just absolutely wearing out a jersey of the team that Miami just beat?
Yeah. What I'm saying is I just want to call it a loss. You don't got to put extra emphasis on it.
Oh.
But the point is, it's good to see. I'm proud of Conrad for finally listening to me and saying he's having perspective about it. Like, you could be in the Auburn scenario in which Lord have mercy how many transfers they've had already. And they got to pretty much clean the whole house. And can we also block the texters or callers that pretty much just kind of throw the ball off to the curb? Can we just establish that? Because it's still too early. It's still something that's there that can be worked out. And sure, it's a lot to go back to the drawing board, but that's just football. Now, we just got to get ready for the Bama. We just got to get ready for the Bama basketball season. And so far, the women was undefeated until last night, but that happens. And for the men, only got 3 losses, still more to play for.
All right, so Alabama's now a basketball school. Are we completely doing away with football? Is that what we're doing now, Chris?
Quit poking the bear, okay? Listen.
All right, let me try one more. Let me try one more on you. What kind of grade are you giving Kalen DeBoer this year?
My grade, I told you guys I didn't have high expectations going in for the first 2 seasons. I went on record to say that. And my grade for him would be a B because, sure, I just wanted 1 game improvement. That's all I needed because you made the playoffs the second year.
So you got a 2-game improvement.
Sorry, what?
You got a 2-game improvement. He went 9-4 last year and went 11-4 this year.
So you're progressing. That's what you work off of.
He's 20-8 in 2 seasons at Alabama. 20-8.
Rome isn't built in a day, baby. That's the thing. And as for the Stallions, I guess since you guys mentioned them, hopefully we can get 20K in there because I think that might revitalize the fan base because I know on what State of the Stallions Twitter account, he is adamantly against A.J. McCarron even being the head coach because he wants somebody with some experience. And here we are today. So I'm like, what I can't understand with Mike Rapoli is why is he trying to get it over to the Hoover Met like it will be that much of a difference?
I don't know, Chris. We got plenty of time that we can talk about potential venue changes for the UFL and where that's going.
Yeah, he tweeted out a picture the other night, and I quote tweeted and sent it back to him, and I simply said, he had a picture of the Hoover Met, and I just reminded everybody that the SEC baseball tournament takes up a lot of time and a lot of energies, and it's a natural playing surface field, And I just don't see the city of Hoover jeopardizing the economic impact of SEC baseball to play spring football in that stadium unless you played the first 5 weeks of the season, played all your home games up front, where the grass would have plenty of time to either be resodded or get it ready for baseball. But I just don't see that happening.
There's lots of potential discussion there we can get into at a later date. We got folks that are wanting to chime in on the college football playoff. Let's go to Jay. He's in Nashville. Hey, Jay.
What's up? I haven't talked to y'all in ages. It's really Jay in Huntsville, Arizona, Jay, but I live up here now.
There he is.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Man, I just told you, screener. I can't wait. I'm getting ready to leave the house right now. I'm getting ready to go to my job, see how many of these parlay pimps that lost all their money this week. Because I was telling them, and I told them, like, look, I used to live in Vegas, and I worked for a handicapper. These are the games you stay away from. No, you crazy, man. Indiana, we ain't finna do. I was like, all right, here we go. You know what I mean? And I can't wait to see the look on their faces. But these are games that you stay away from. And then on top of that, I've been arguing for the past month now. Like, all that mystique is over with. You know what I mean? Even when Kiffin left LSU. And I can understand, left for LSU, and I can understand why, but it's like, dude, nobody is living by that mystique anymore. I don't care because I used to live in Louisiana too, and I know that gene pool down there is amazing. You know what I mean? You be maybe talking to somebody like, wait a minute, you only 17? Yeah, it's like, dude, you like Hulk Hogan walking around here. You know what I mean? But it's I don't care where you at or that mystique is over with, and that's the beauty of the NIL era. And as far as the Mendoza kid, you know what I mean, I really like the kid, and yeah, he's a little bit of a cornball, but the force is strong with that one. And then the Chambliss kid, Russell Wilson, if he's listening, invite this kid over to your house, not that fool that you invited over, that grown man you invited over your house to go singing like a bird. You know what I mean, on your punk ass podcast. Invite that kid over because that's Russell Wilson 2.0. And I'm sorry for rambling on.
Arizona Jay.
Good to hear from
Nashville
you, man.
Jay now. We appreciate it, man. Good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Call back anytime.
All right, be well. Have fun at work. Tom.
Hey, slice and dice this at your will. This is a quarterback question. I was 40 years old when I went to the championship game against Miami in '92. The point is now you have to make a proper quarterback decision. If you don't think so, ask Hugh Freeze or Dabo Swinney. Jay Barker wouldn't even be on the field anymore in college football, but he is all we needed then. Not so true now. So if you don't have your quarterback right, it will be very difficult to make it unless you have a perfect team. And the way you can tell how good your team is let's take Indiana and Alabama and swap those two quarterbacks yesterday in the game. Would Alabama have won? Probably not, but I guarantee you we wouldn't have lost 37-3. It's a good way to judge if you've got the right guy on your team and if you can do better. Y'all take that and chop it up. But
okay.
I don't think we've got the right guy right now for next year. I may be wrong, and I love Ty Simpson, but I don't think he's the right guy.
All right,
thank you
Tom.
for the phone call, Tom. There'll be a lot of discussion about that because when we've discussed it, but Ty Simpson, if he was to come back, that might put the Alabama coaching staff in a very uncomfortable situation with a guy like Keelan Russell.
I was talking to some people last night. Just the scuttlebutt is that Austin Mack, who I was told back during spring ball, I was a little surprised that he made it through spring, that he was not in the transfer portal. Now that Nick Sheridan is going to be the offensive coordinator at Michigan State, I would think that would be a nice landing spot for Austin Mack.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. My opinion as an Alabama fan, I love Ty Simpson. He is an incredible story. You got to roll with Keelan Russell. And you could bring Ty back and I think have a lot of success. But the potential of what that is, you have to give him a shot.
Yeah, I was texting with some people last night, and my opinion, and it's my opinion, But Alabama has got to have a quarterback that is not just a pocket passing quarterback.
Yeah.
It has to. I mean, listen, Mendoza, when Mendoza ran yesterday, he was effective. I'm not talking about having a guy that is sitting back there and let's run him 50% of the time, let him throw 50% of the time. But when he needs to run or you have a designed run, he can be effective.
And it doesn't look smooth, but it works.
Now, I'm telling you what.
It works.
Mendoza, like Herb Street said, it was like a brand new
it's like a baby giraffe
or a baby deer on ice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but he knew how to get to the hole. He knew how to fall forward. He was effective in what he was able to do. That's what Alabama needs. And I understand that Michael Penix did not do that at Washington. But let's remember everything, folks, that Kalen DeBoer was hired at Alabama for what purpose? Offense, right?
Yeah.
And Alabama just went back about 50 yards a game offensively. And listen, I was on the Paul Feinbaum show at SEC Media Days, and I said that everywhere that Ryan Grubb has been with Kalen DeBoer, the numbers will tell you that the offense is explosive. Well, it didn't happen this year.
That was the one thing the offense was not this year, was explosive.
Yeah. Unless you, and it's just like Tom just said, though, unless you don't have any deficiencies and you're great up front and you're great everywhere else, I would go with especially now, with a guy who's more of a dual threat.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, and
for sure, especially against SEC defenses. Now, I think it does help or to make that decision in playing in the Southeastern Conference, where I think if you're a pocket quarterback, you can get away with it a little bit more. But look at a guy like Nussmeier this year in LSU.
It was rough. It was really rough. And I mean, I go back to Michael Penix. First off, some people might not agree with this. Michael Penix is better than Ty Simpson. He was an incredible quarterback. You also had a 1,200-yard rusher that year, and your offensive line won the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah.
You can work with that. But
Jalen Milroe was really, really good, but you have to have somebody that's going to take care of the football and that can make the intermediate throws.
I'm going to bring up two quarterbacks in the SEC that we got an eye full the last few days. One was Gunnar Stockton last night.
Yep.
Look how well he runs the football. That hit.
Again, is he dead? Okay, he's not. Oh, my gosh, he's staying in the game.
Mm-hmm. That one hit he took.
Oh.
And, of course, the Georgia social media going crazy because they were pointing out that was not targeting on that play when he got decleated. But
they called it on the shoulder tackle.
Yeah.
Well, they also missed a face mask that anyways.
Luckily, that was not an SEC crew.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, collectively, they missed a lot.
But Gunnar Stockton is one, and the other is Arch Manning. Look what Arch Manning did against Michigan.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to see with Arch Manning next year. So you got two quarterbacks right there that can throw the football and they can run it effectively. And Ty Simpson, albeit coming out of high school, he was this dual threat guy. Once he got his chance at Alabama, that was not in Ryan Grubb's playbook for whatever reason.
And I also think that in the second half of the season, because there have been opportunities with Ty using his legs where you're like, maybe we should do that more. But it's also very clear that they could not have him get hurt because he's all they had. So it kind of limited your.
I don't know. Austin Mack looked pretty good yesterday, getting him to a field goal.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran the football effectively.
Yep. He had those long strides. He had a dart to Jeremy, too.
Speaking of quarterbacks, it's being reported right now that Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby, who is the number one player in the transfer portal, Cam Coleman is number 2, according to all these rankings. But Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby, he has 2 visits lined up, Texas Tech and LSU. So the number one player in the transfer portal will visit the Matador Club there in Lubbock.
Sorsby just seems like a name. He would be the quarterback at Texas Tech next year.
So he is visiting Texas Tech, and also he's got a visit lined up for LSU.
What does that number look like at Texas Tech? Let's just all take a guess before it happens. 4?
I was going to say at least 3.5.
Is this the year of the 4 in the transfer portal?
Somebody, I mean, look, if Cam Coleman's asking for $4 million, a quarterback's going to get $4 million.
So Brett Yormark gave an interview with the Dallas Morning News about the college football playoff, And he told the newspaper that he reiterated his support for expanding the college football playoff to 16 teams and said commissioners will meet multiple times before the January 23rd deadline. Yormark favors 5 automatic bids for conference champions and wants to explore extending an on-campus playoff games beyond the first round. So the headline there, Yormark says that commissioners will meet multiple times before the January 23rd, so that's 3 weeks from today, is the deadline.
More home games is good. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
That should be the easy part.
So he supports a 16-team expansion and then 5 automatic qualifiers for the 5 Power 5 conferences, because now he's
good with that.
including the
Pac
Pac-12
whatever. Pac
or whatever
8.
they're going to call themselves.
Earn your way.
And then
More ball.
And then obviously have the on-campus games as opposed to going to these.
That should be an easy fix.
I could have used another game featuring Texas and Vanderbilt. I could have used Notre Dame.
What was the weather in Bloomington, Indiana yesterday?
It's a good question. Couldn't have been much worse than it was in
No,
Pasadena, to be honest.
It can't be good though, right? Because they just had that Arctic blast with all that snow that made its way up into the Northeast.
Let's see. Today it is cloudy and 35.
That's not bad.
Feels like 28 right now.
Okay.
Any snowfall?
Mm-mm.
That'd have been some good Big Ten weather yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to the 55 and rain in Pasadena.
Man, just looking at 90,000 people that went to that game.
I'm sure it'd been okay in Lubbock yesterday.
That's where Dan Lanning wanted his game.
Athens yesterday would have been nice.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. We could have hosted a game at the Hoover Met yesterday. Nice weather.
Sure. Why not? All right. More 3-man front on this Reaction Friday on Jocks. It is 12:21 here on Jocks on this Reaction Friday, 1-800-239-WJOX. It's also New Year's sales event going on at Courtesy GMC, going on right now, right off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville. And if you've been waiting for a while for the best deals, now is the time. Try up to $15,000 off MSRP on Sierras in stock. They've got over 100 to choose from on their 9.5-acre lot. AT4s, Denali's, SLTs, you name it, they got it. They are ready to roll. If you're more of an SUV person like I am, Courtesy GMC, they've got you covered there too. You can save thousands on brand new Yukons, Terrains, and Acadias. And when you buy a new GMC from Courtesy GMC in Trussville, it comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. That's peace of mind for the long haul. So shop the huge selection going on now and the huge savings at courtesybirmingham.com. Courtesy GMC with a holiday sales event and the New Year's sales event has been turning heads for people in the market for brand new GMCs. So get by and see them right off of I-459 exit 32.
Huge bank of phone calls here on this Reaction Friday, 800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Billy first, who's been waiting patiently. Hey, Billy, how are you?
Hey, Happy New Year to all of y'all. I tell you, starting to wind down. Y'all have been doing a wonderful job since the summer, and y'all every week, day in and day out, y'all are getting us through this football season. Although we're all limping now, we're getting close to the finish line. But hey, that's life in SEC. But I'm an Alabama fan. I watched the game. To be quite honest with you, I wasn't impressed at all. I saw a team that just didn't have no fight in them, no game plan whatsoever. I saw a quarterback that was overwhelmed, just like he was against Florida State week one. I saw offensive line that looked just like they did in week one, and the fight was not there. I think the head coach for Indiana, just like he said post game, it's the makings of a great movie, what that man has done in 2 years. And that being going forward, I just don't see Ty Simpson as the future at Alabama. The game has changed. The offenses now, you got to be putting some points on the board, and I just don't see it. I just don't think. And I think at the end of the game, I know he was hurt, but I think he kind of realized maybe that might be his last game at Alabama. I possibly see him going in the portal. I possibly see him entertaining some offers. I don't know, but let me ask you this: what school would be willing to throw some money at him to pick him up?
Well, I think there will be.
Let's face it.
I think there will be plenty of people. Now, it might not be an LSU or an Ole Miss or a Texas.
No.
Obviously, Texas has Arch Manning, but
I could see Miami going that route.
But I will tell you this: as long as he continues to get a first-round grade in the NFL draft, which all indications last couple of days on the information that I've been privy to and I've been looking at, he's got a first-round grade.
I'm looking right now. He is a top 5 pick, according to CBS and Bleacher Report.
I just don't see that. I mean, he just don't have the physical capabilities like what we saw in Trinidad Chambliss last night or what we saw at Georgia's quarterback position. He just does not have that wow factor that you have to have game in, game out, play every single play to put your team on your back and say, hey, let's go. I mean, yeah, he looked good against Georgia and Athens, but doggone, let's face it. I mean, he's been terrible ever since, and I just don't see it. These NFL scouts, I just don't know. I mean, if I was a team owner, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be pulling the trigger on him. I mean, that's just me, but I'm just ready to make a move, and I think he knew that at the end of the game. That's just my take, fellas.
Hey, thank you for the call. Appreciate it very much. There's been multiple stories that have come out since the Sugar Bowl game. And ESPN just posted this moments ago. So shortly after Pete Golden and Ole Miss finished an upset over Georgia on Thursday, a source told Mark Schlabach that expects some fireworks as LSU coach Lane Kiffin decides how many of his assistants can remain with the Rebels in the CFP semifinal. Now, it was reported this morning that Charlie Weiss, hours after play calling in the Ole Miss win against Georgia, he was in the LSU football office this morning working for Lane Kiffin.
At least that was a short drive for him.
It was over to Baton Rouge. So this is going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. I know that Keith Carter had some interesting things to say after the game in regards to what potentially is going to happen with the rest of this coaching staff moving forward. But obviously, I think Weiss is the most important.
And I wonder if there's been some of these guys working through this experience and having to balance both have said, you know what, I think I'd rather work with Pete.
Outside of the paycheck, but
I
of
think
course,
it's a legitimate question outside of the paycheck.
I mean, Ole Miss was willing to double everyone's pay if you stayed.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a lot can change with the rosters, but right now, I think you'd say Ole Miss is in a better spot than LSU is moving forward.
All right, so
I'll make this bold statement. I don't think that Ole Miss wins that game last night if Lane Kiffin's the head coach.
I second that theory.
I think that's a pretty good. Pete Golding, best coach in the SEC.
Not ready to do that. Not yet.
He's 2-0.
I was about to say he's got the same number of playoff wins as DeBoer.
Yeah. So this is in the Mark Schlabach story. He says, with the transfer portal opening Friday, sources told ESPN that the Rebels aren't certain that they'll have all their assistants with them when they play the Hurricanes in 6 days. A source said some of the assistants have apparently pushed back on leaving an Ole Miss team that is 2 victories away from winning a national championship. This is a direct quote from an Ole Miss source to Mark Schlabach. There are going to be some fireworks. We always knew this might be the possibility, end of quote. Sources told ESPN after the Rebels win that Weiss was expected to coach in the Fiesta Bowl, but sources also said that a plan was in place for the other LSU assistants to return to Baton Rouge to help the Tigers prepare to host prospects in the transfer portal this weekend. And Weiss, as we know, it was confirmed that he was in the offices this morning working for LSU.
Just wrap your head around this. If Ole Miss ends up winning it all, Conrad, they will have won a national title before they won an SEC championship.
That's a good point.
Didn't even play for an SEC championship.
You haven't even been in the game.
Mm-mm.
The last time you won one was 1963.
I said it this morning. I'm rooting for Ole Miss the rest of the way. It's a great story. It would be awesome.
So Lane Kiffin told ESPN the following this morning for the story. Everything has been extremely clear and transparent between myself and Pete Golding through constant communication, including a plan all the way through this historic championship run. What an amazing night for all Ole Miss players, coaches, and fans. Do you really think that Lane Kiffin is really saying that behind the scenes?
No.
Well, I go to what Landrum said earlier. He's probably ticked off they won that game. I guarantee you in his wildest dreams, he never thought they would make it this far.
No.
Ever.
No.
He didn't think the situation would be, Charlie, go coach that first game against Tulane, whatever, go have fun, but
you guys have fun, but you're going to meet Georgia. We know what's going to happen there.
He's like, I couldn't beat him. You think Pete's going to beat him?
Right.
Well, see, here's the other thing.
That's the way I imagined it, and I love it.
Absolutely.
I mean, not only the name assistants, but you also have support personnel that is leaving. And I'm talking about senior analyst, pass game specialist Dane Stevens. You also have a graduate assistant, Sawyer Jordan, who helps with slot receivers. They're both leaving for LSU. Those are support pieces to the Ole Miss staff. I mean, they're not, with headsets on calling plays.
But what they do is they fill up hours,
absolutely.
And it's labor. It's stuff that other coaches aren't going to have the time to go and do. Or if they have to go and do it, it takes away from something else they should be doing.
Because keep in mind,
it's a big deal.
I mean, Lane Kiffin is saying all these right things, but at the end of the day, I mean, he basically held Ole Miss hostage and put them over a barrel.
Yeah, he did, and shame on him.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget about that. I mean,
I understand what he wanted to do professionally and personally, and I don't fault him for that. But he put Ole Miss, their players, their coaches, their fan base, their administration in a terrible, terrible position, and he could have avoided it, and he chose not to.
This is a great quote. So, after the Rebels knocked off the Bulldogs last night, Defensive tackle Xavier Harris said Kiffin was again trying to steal the spotlight from one of the greatest teams in Ole Miss history. Harris said, yeah, he was just trying to steal our shine. That's all he's trying to do. That's all he's been trying to do is steal our shine. Harris said Kiffin's abrupt departure from Ole Miss in the middle of the CFP run was like a slap in the face. Harris went on to say, like a slap and a backhand. He was trying to be a troll. We're going to troll him. We got something for him. End of quote.
I just don't. I could be wrong. I don't feel like a ton of Ole Miss players are going to go to LSU. I understand the pay raise and everything for LSU, and I get that for the coaches, but there's a lot of players that have come out and, dude.
I just wonder, are LSU fans still as intoxicated with excitement as they were a couple of weeks ago? Now that this is settled, you've seen what Ole Miss has done, how this is kind of playing out. I'm sure there's some of them that are fine with it.
Well, they're still celebrating the Alabama loss.
But does it give you any kind of pause? You know what you're getting before you extend that offer. It's all about games, right?
I go back to what we said when I guess it was officially announced that he was going to be the LSU coach. I think he's a really good coach. Would it surprise anybody if we're here 4 years from now and LSU still hasn't made a playoff? Like, it's one of those things where I think he'll do a really good job there, but
he's never gotten his team to an SEC championship game.
You know,
he's never coached or won a college football playoff game.
I just love
Pete Golding has twice.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that the players are speaking their minds.
Yeah.
Good.
Taking the shine, and that's exactly what it seemed like he's doing. And now when you're everybody is kind of fortified, playing for each other. That's the thing with Ole Miss. It's not only it's us against the world, but let's
us against Lane
let's
Kiffin.
stick it to that guy.
I did see.
Absolutely.
Didn't Lane tweet out last night a picture of his son was at the game in a box? I think.
Oh,
Is it
they
Sugar
made him
Bowl?
sit in a box.
Yeah, he was in a.
Was it a recruiting visit?
They have holes in it so he could breathe. It's just
It was a nice.
Just
box.
imagining it.
yeah. All right, we're gonna let you stay here. Your dad's not allowed, but you're gonna have to sit in this box.
Just take a pen and poke some holes in the top. You're good, Knox.
Well, Lane was too busy with Kim Mulkey last
I was about
night.
to say they were having a great time.
Yeah, he didn't have time for.
Do you think that was her idea? Hey, let's interlock hands and walk out.
That was kind of weird.
That was
It was
weird.
kind of weird. She was loving it though.
Why does that shock anyone?
Oh, it doesn't. It's just weird.
Is it more weird than Tom Brady like hooking up with a 25-year-old in St. Bart's?
Yeah, but he's got the body of a 27-year-old, so it doesn't matter.
Paige was very distraught about that yesterday.
Was she?
She's a big fan of what's her name, Alex Earl.
Not anymore. She's been
I think she likes her. She's just like, man, he's like twice your age. Also, she was dating one of his former teammates.
How old is Bucky?
It's kind of funny. How old is? I don't know.
Just bring that up. You just throw it back at her.
That's right.
We will continue on. We'll get to your text messages. We got a ton of them that we need to get to right here on Jocks. It is 1237, 1-800-239-WJOX on this Reaction Friday. What's next for Alabama? Kind of quiet so far on the transfer portal news. Anybody from the Alabama roster? He had Richard Young. He officially went in the transfer portal, but everything else has been kind of quiet in T-Town.
Well, it's not only quiet in T-Town, it's kind of quiet across the land. Are they telling some of these guys don't bite at the first offer? Do we have new tactics, new strategy? Some of these players in these Power 4 schools? Who knows? Wouldn't you thought we would have known maybe a little bit more? I know it just opened. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I was talking about Sorsby a minute ago, and the word is that he's in Lubbock this afternoon. So he'll be in Lubbock this afternoon, and I imagine he'll be in Baton Rouge tomorrow.
Yeah.
On his visits. And I think most of these places, I think they want to get some deals done pretty quick, because just like you do when you have players in high school that commit to a school, you like to feed off that momentum.
Yeah.
And so if you're Texas Tech or LSU and you want to get that quarterback, you want to get Sorsby, just like I think Texas would really love to get something done with Cam Coleman. Then all of a sudden that gets rolling, from their perspective. So much has been talked about Indiana and that being a special story with the Hoosiers making it now to the national semifinals. They beat Alabama soundly yesterday, 38-3. But Cam Newton, former Heisman Trophy winner, former Auburn quarterback great, had his number retired this previous year. No one will ever wear number 2 again for the Auburn Tigers. He wants to remind America that the SEC is still the SEC.
Order in the court, because somebody has to speak reasoning to the beautiful people of America. And my American people, I will have you to know that the SEC is not and has not went anywhere. Why? Because every team in the SEC does more numbers than every team in the Big Ten, than every team in the ACC, than every team. Man, listen, at the end of the day, everybody knows that if you want to go and get put on, you still go to the SEC. And however great Coach Signetti is, you still know, I'm not about to go watch Indiana football. I prefer to go watch LSU, Ole Miss, the great Auburn, Alabama, UGA, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi State, way before I watch a Penn State, way before I watch a Michigan State, Iowa State. Man, come on now. Is the dominance over? Yes. Why? It's because the ability to pay players now. But they still don't do the numbers that the SEC does. And the mantra of the SEC, might I remind you, it's just different, Ryan Terry. You and I both know that.
Almost.
He almost nailed it.
Yeah, almost landed the...
I will say that Cowboys comment, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
No,
Nobody wants to watch Indiana.
But if you're Kurt Signetti, you got to force him to.
I think a lot of people watched Indiana and Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and Indiana, Alabama. That's probably the only 3 games they've ever watched from Indiana this season, and I don't really blame them. Maybe the end of the Penn State game.
Well, to be fair, there are several teams from each conference across the land that I would not care to watch on any Saturday.
If this was
given their latest teams.
I was about to say, if this was not my job, I don't think I would ever watch Kentucky football, but you know what? We have to.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is. There might be a reason to watch, though, based on some of the...
With Sam Leavitt, perhaps?
If you're just joining us, Kentucky trending for some top names out of the portal. Big-time top names.
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned Sam Leavitt. Was it Texas running back?
C.J. Baxter, yep.
So before the Alabama game yesterday, because I don't have the numbers, but I just went back and looked, the most watched Indiana game was the 33rd most watched football game this year, and it was
Oregon?
Penn State.
Oh.
That was over the Big Ten Championship?
Regular season.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
No, the Big Ten Championship game was about 20 million.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was, I think, the most watched. But regular season, since that's what we were talking about, the regular season, it was 33rd. 6 million people watched the game.
And I'm going to go out on a limb. If that was the most watched game, probably because a lot of people tuned at the end to see if Penn State was going to pull off the upset.
I mean, put this in perspective. The Iron Bowl did 11.3 million. That's almost twice as many people watched the Iron Bowl between Alabama and a very bad Auburn football team than they did Indiana against Penn State.
Still, if I'm Indiana and I've given him Cignetti that contract and that guaranteed money, I feel like it's probably almost already paid for itself.
Oh, no doubt.
The residuals will get enrollment, interest, donor support, all of that.
I was about to say, he could walk away right now and it would be an incredible investment by them. They got a good one.
You think it ends up at Alabama?
No, I don't. I did think it was funny, though, because I go back and people are saying, well, why don't fire Kalen DeBoer and go get Cignetti?
Everybody wants Cignetti now.
I've seen some people that said, well, why didn't Alabama hire Kurt Cignetti 3 years ago or when Nick Saban retired? You would have never, again, hindsight's 20/20. Imagine Nick Saban retires and Greg Burns says, I'm going to hire the James Madison coach to replace the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
In hindsight, maybe that would have been the right call. You would have never sold that to a fan base, ever.
No. 2 straight college football playoffs in his first 2 years.
He's done a great job. I think if he wins the national championship, you'll have a lot of people saying he is potentially surpassed Kirby Smart as the best coach in college football. It's impressive.
205-834-9450. A lot of your texts. We will get to those as we continue our Reaction Friday on Three Man Front.
So we're just talking about the transfer portal opened up last night. Quarterbacks and specialty players like running backs and wide receivers, they're going to get all the pub. It's interesting that Cutter Boley, quarterback at Kentucky, is scheduled for a 2-day visit in Tempe, Arizona, visiting there.
Do you really need 2 days in Tempe?
You need a whole weekend.
He'll be there for 5 minutes. He'll be sold.
He never leaves, does he?
Greatest place on earth.
Lexington, Kentucky, or Tempe, Arizona?
Yeah, that's not a tough call.
No.
I've never been to either.
Especially in January.
You're not missing a lot in Kentucky. Never been to Tempe.
You need to go out. Me and you need to make a trip out to Tempe.
Yeah.
We'll go see some baseball.
Play some golf.
I know both of our teams are Grapefruit League teams, but we can go check out some Cactus
scout the
League.
other teams.
Yeah, we can go scout some Cactus League stuff. The Cubs and the Brewers, they have their spring training sites out there.
Dodgers do too, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used to be on the east coast of Florida, and then they moved out to Arizona.
I'd like to just go heckle Freddie Freeman all spring.
Would you?
Yeah.
Just be that guy?
Hey!
Get you some fake veneers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Blind them.
Yep. With a big old Canadian Mountie outfit. Isn't he partially Canadian?
Sure.
I forget.
I think he is.
I've tried to forget all of his
Him
bio.
and FSU Dave.
Try to forget everything about it.
Yeah. All of his bio. Everything.
Anywho, so Boley is visiting Arizona State. Meanwhile, their former quarterback, Sam Levitt, is supposedly going to be interested in discussing the potential of landing in Lexington, where Boley is coming from.
Well, if you want to land at a great place to watch sports, whether it's the NFL, whether it's college football or college basketball, you can do it at the Finnick. Get in this afternoon. You got massive screens, explosive sound, every seat in the house. The experience is brighter, bolder, and bigger. It's got a new restaurant menu there at the Finnick. Certainly we're cheering forward. Great burgers, wonderful wings, shareables, starters, fork and knife. They cut their own steaks there in-house. They also have fresh Gulf seafood. Friday nights, that means tonight you got live bands beginning at 10 o'clock. Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, all dedicated to sports with no live music to get in the way. Get into the Finnick. Check them out, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
So according to Auburn Undercover, there have been a couple of offers this morning from Auburn to some players that are currently in the portal. One is former Charlotte defensive back Dwight Boodle II.
Boodle!
And I suppose since obviously Golish and his staff have been in the American Conference and that's where Charlotte plays, he would have a pretty good idea.
He's also a kid that's from the Miami area, so I'm wondering if their new corners coach, Van Dyke, has a connection with him. But he started his career at Nebraska. But I also saw where out of high school, the Dwight Boodle got an offer from Yale.
Smart kid.
Yep.
Also, former Arkansas State defensive lineman Cody Sigler has announced that he has an offer from Auburn. So there's a couple of players, at least on social media.
And he's a New Hope, Alabama kid originally. He was second team All Sun Belt.
As of this moment, only Cameron Howard, Rock Montgomery, and Richard Young are in the portal from the University of Alabama. Transferring in from the portal, Josh Ford, tied in from Oklahoma State.
A lot of texts are coming in, 205-834-9450. We will get to those texts. But Stephen from the state of Louisiana says, don't speak to all of us LSU fans, LOL. I didn't want Kiffin. I wanted Sumrall. Kiffin, a drama queen.
Yeah. He's going to win you some football games, but there's going to be a lot of headaches along the way.
Yep.
That's part of the experience, though.
Dwayne says, yeah, I'm probably butthurt from the last 5 years, but I love the way that Pat Smith says Alabama in the most grand way in a very bad Auburn team. So I guess the results of that game was like a blowout. How he said Auburn?
I just mentioned the fact that Auburn had a losing record and they were a bad football team. What was that? What was inaccurate about that statement?
I don't know.
It's your tone.
Pat B. Bourbon Country be Tempe. Give me Bourbon Country. Is that? He meant Lexington versus Tempe.
Yeah.
Bourbon Country versus, and he says, give me Bourbon Country.
Yeah.
But apparently he never took the visit then.
If that's what you're into.
Pat did. I have a uniform question. Really curious on Pat's perspective. What do you guys think of the Matt helmets? I'm a big fan of them.
Was there a particular school he was asking about, or just in general?
I don't know. I've got an Oregon Matt helmet. It's a black Oregon helmet with a high vis O on it. I like that look. An example, Mississippi State's Matt helmets from a few years ago. I did not like those. Certain I do, but for the most part, I like the shiny helmet. What about you, Pat? You got a preference?
I prefer the shiny. I did not like Ole Miss's combination last night. I texted multiple people in New Orleans and told them I was not happy.
Drake says Indiana coach looks like a madman on the sideline. Oh, boy.
I remember getting to see that on the sideline. Made you feel real confident.
From Conrad's secret admirer, Faye in Childersburg, Coach DeBoer needs that belt to ass and wake up. Happy New Year and roll tide anyways.
Always good to hear from Faye.
This one, listening to Cam Newton, loving it. LOL. Lane Kiffin went from one of the best color schemes of Ole Miss and going to probably the worst color scheme, LSU.
I really like LSU's uniforms personally. They're not Ole Miss.
No, I like LSU,
but they're still very good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they wore the helmets last night just to try to secure more Realtree funding for NIL.
Maybe so. It's a pretty good advertisement for them on that stage. Might be right.
Sure was.
Dylan says, it's funny how you guys say the offensive line's getting worse with Ryan Grubb, or the offense is getting worse with Ryan Grubb, but we're praising him earlier in the season, saying he was putting Caden Proctor in the backfield and getting first downs, saying he was an offensive guru.
Well, yeah, he did a great job in the first half of the season and not such a great job after that.
He peaked in Athens, Georgia.
Yes, he did. Well, and I brought that up when I was talking to some people over yesterday. They really went away from that Caden Proctor thing. You got it 3 games in a row, and then they said, yeah, we're not going to do that ever again. Kind of odd.
The coach from Rainbow City, thanks for a great 2025. Georgia Tech won 9 games, and if you don't want to play on the flats, good riddance. Does Grubb's granny get her glasses back when the season's over?
I don't get that joke. That one went over my head.
Guess his glasses? They look like a grandma's glasses? Do they have the little chains that connect them?
No, I don't think so.
Now, that'd be something. Fourth and final hour of this Reaction Friday next.